So good morning, everyone. My name is Pablo Ordejón. I'm the director of ICN2, and very glad to welcome you to this workshop on CMOS, beyond CMOS, alternative computing paradigms. This is the second workshop that we do in the Institute in the Severo Ochoa series for ICT, for Information and Communication Technologies. The first one had happened about 3 years ago, about quantum computing. And now we are focusing on a different topic, which is computing in general, but beyond the standard of computing, which is CMOS currently. So this is a Severo Ochoa Workshop. So Severo Ochoa, let me remind you what Severo Ochoa is. Severo Ochoa is an award, it's a prize that the Ministry of Technology and Science in Spain organized a few years ago. And that's an award for excellent centers. It's an award which is given to centers which have an international impact on their scientific areas. It's not limited to a given scientific area, it's for all scientific activities. And only the centers which have a strong international impact get this award in Spain. We got the first award in 2014, and we renewed it 4 years ago. And this is our last 3 months of the current Severo Ochoa Award. It's finishing in June this year. We applied for the renewal, and we all keep our fingers crossed that we will get it renewed for 4 more years. It's a especially interesting award. It's not only an award, but also some funding. So it involves 4 million euros for 4 years, which is a significant amount of money for institutes like ours, which is not very large. And it's especially interesting and important because it's very flexible money. It's not money for the current functioning of the institute, but it's money to organize strategic things of the institute that you cannot do with the base funding that you have in Spain. So the project has really have a very strong impact in the life of the institute. We were able to fund many things that we couldn't have funded without Severo Ochoa. And that includes very strategic lines of action, mainly in technology transfer, not only in science that we do, but also in technology transfer. And that has been really very successful. So the Institute in these 8 years of Severo Ochoa has has obtained 30 patents already. We have 8 spin-off companies being created in this period, most of them with the participation of ICN2. So ICN2 is part of the spin-off companies. We have several products in the market in this period, so it's really have had a very important impact on the Institute. It also allowed us to bring new groups to the Institute. In the last Severo Ochoa, we bought 2 new groups, and there is another one coming, funded partially by the current Severo Ochoa, and partly, hopefully, by the coming Severo Ochoa project. The person that is coming already obtained an ERC grant, so she's coming with money and is going to pay off the investment of Severo Ochoa. So it's a catalyzer for us to do activities that we couldn't do otherwise. It's been also very important for equipment. So again, leveraging the money for Severo Ochoa from other calls or the competitive calls that only cover partially the cost of equipment has allowed us to buy some very important equipment for us. It allowed us to install a clean room that we were desperately missing in ICN2 many years ago. We also created a biolab for cell cultures and biological activities. And in the current Severo Ochoa, we are buying a top-of-the-line, state-of-the-art electronic microscope, aberration corrected for very detailed characterization of materials. And in the next one, we are going to buy a second one for us. So it's really very important for us. So the topic of this workshop is ICT, and ICT is one of the 4 scientific thematic themes of our Severo Ochoa Award. So we have organized the Severo Ochoa project in 4 themes. One is ICT, second is energy, third is health, and 4th is environment. And ICT is crucial in many of these technologies, both in health, in energy, and in environment. Energy is perhaps the most pressing one for mankind. We have now computing centers. I was reading that in Ireland, Ireland is especially a singular country because it has made a very strong political effort in bringing the electronic industry to Ireland, and is hosting data centers for very big companies like Amazon and so on. So it has a very intense use of computation. But Ireland right now is using 10% of the energy use they have is for the data centers, but it's expected that by 2028, I think, is going to be 30% of the energy use of the whole country. So it's going to be a very, very significant amount of energy which has been wasted because it's not spent, it's wasted. We are using devices which were not thought for what we are using them. We are using them for things like that artificial intelligence, that is very, very intensive computing intensive, but because we are using devices which are not especially designed for that. So the idea of these new technologies, these coming technologies beyond CMOS, is to try to make the best of the physical properties of materials so that we move away from the CMOS technology, from the usual electronics, and move to other tronics, to spintronics, valleytronics, other technologies or other ways of managing information, which are much less energy expensive and intensive. And that will also allow to do many other things that we cannot do that now. So all the applications in artificial intelligence, but also in Internet of Things, all these trillions of devices that we are going to have spread all around, deep learning, artificial intelligence, exascale computing, for instance. There's a very strong activity in Europe in bringing exascale computing centers to Europe. There are 3 pre-exascale computers that are already being purchased. 2 of them have been purchased already in Finland and in Italy. And the 3rd one is going to be here in Barcelona in the same call. It's been purchased now. But in 2 years, we will have 2 exascale computers in Europe, and this is going to use huge amounts of energy, but also they are going to produce, hopefully, a lot of science. Robotics, autonomous systems, so we are going to have the need of all these computing technologies, but this has to be beyond CMOS, because otherwise it's going to be really unsustainable, and we are not going to be able to take profit of all the potential of these technologies. So this workshop is precisely about that, the need for alternative computing technologies for ICT. And we are talking about new variables, new ways of managing information and storage information beyond the charge. So we are talking about spins, photons, hybrid systems, quantum computers in which you don't use the usual classical computing paradigm, but you use the quantum silicon qubits and so on. So one particular very important thing of all this is that somehow this will have to be integrated within CMOS. It's not going to be a technology which is isolated from that. So linking that to the current CMOS technology is really crucial. Otherwise, it will not happen for a much longer time. So I'm happy to have very, very good speakers, very crucial speakers in this field, international sound. And let me thank them for being here, the ones which are here, and for connecting from home, the ones which were not able to make it. It's really nice to be able to do things presentially already since 2 years ago. So I'm very happy to welcome you. And let me thank especially the people that organized this event. I have the names here. I don't want to forget any of the names. Clivia as the main organizer, and then Juan Sierra, Emilio Chavez, and Martin Poblet as organizers of the event, but also the people from communications and marketing, Alex over there, Anna, and all his team. So thank you for being here. I hope you enjoy the workshop in Barcelona, and I will be around. So thank you very much.